Hey guys, welcome to another video here on the AviationPro channel. Today I want to talk to you about the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro joystick. One of the most commonly used joystick in the flight simulator world because it's a very durable joystick. It works very well and very smooth and it's available for a very low price. So it deserves some special attention, and this is just a small video to show you the characteristics of this beautiful joystick. Now, as you can see, I haven't cleaned this joystick that much, which kind of shows how old this joystick is. I think it's about 7 years old since it's been 7 years ago since I purchased it, but it still works very fine. I use it frequently for flying aircraft that use joysticks like the Spitfire or flight sticks, or maybe the Aerospool WT9 Dynamic, for example. And I use it as a steering tiller in the Boeing cockpit, for example. As you can see, it's pretty old, but it works very fine. It's a beautiful looking joystick, and I'm just going to show you why, if you're new to the flight simulator world, why it's a good idea to buy a joystick like this one. Of course, there are a lot more better joysticks out there, but this one has a very low price for great quality and a great durability as well. So of course the joystick has a throttle lever which you can move the throttle with. It has various programmable buttons on the side, on the base. There are 6 of them right here. And then on the joystick itself, of course, we have a rudder axis, which I'm using for the steering tiller in the commercial aircraft. A button here, which I use for push to talk. Then a few buttons on the top as well. And of course you also have a head switch to look around in the cockpit. And then on the front you have another switch which you could use as a fire button if you're using combat flight simulators or any other game, or to brake your aircraft, for example. So a great joystick. I do have to say, as the joystick gets older, it gets a bit hard for some buttons to press. They don't respond that well anymore, but they still do work. Also, some of the axes tend to get a bit jumpy when you're in a 0 position, so I recommend to program your joystick using the famous flight simulator module FSUIPC. You might want to look that up. That's a module which you can configure your flight controls in Flight Simulator very easily with, and you can also kind of reduce the jumpiness, or you can kind of set ranges to avoid jumpy responses in the flight controls. So, but in general, still it works. I mean, after 7 years, this joystick, after frequent use, still works, and that says a lot about this joystick and about its durability. So let's see this joystick in action for a bit. As you can see, I'm here using the Spitfire, the RealAir Spitfire in FS 2004, and we'll just make some turns with this joystick. It feels very smooth. So this joystick is 7 years old, or at least it must be, if I have my memory right. But it still works very fine. There are no jumps yet when I move the control surfaces. It only is jumpy at around the 0 position. So when I move the joystick a little bit, as I showed you a minute ago, then some of the inputs might get a little bit jumpy, but you can kind of fix that with using FSUIPC. But as you can see, it just works very smoothly. The aircraft turns perfectly. The responses are very smooth and quick. So I'm now giving full input to the right, as you can see, but also very small inputs. Of course, already give a change to the position of the aircraft and the attitude of the aircraft. Of course, it depends on how you program the responsiveness in FSUIPC. You can do that for each and every aircraft differently, but depending on how you program your responsiveness of the joystick, you can just program it in such way that it feels realistic to you. So I programmed this specifically for the Spitfire, and it works pretty fine. Now I'm using the joystick also as a second yoke, so if I have 2 pilots in my cockpit flying for fun, then I can use the joystick as well as a backup controller, and I use the SATAC yoke and throttle quadrant and rudder pedals as my primary controller. But as I said, using this joystick, I can just fly airplanes like this one, and of course I can take over the flight controls when you know, my co-pilot messes up at the side tech yoke. So as you can see, very responsive joystick, great quality, great durability, and I think it just deserves a lot of special attention because it's available for about 50 euros, and especially if you're new to the flight simulator world, I think this joystick is perfect because you can have a lot of fun with it for many years for a very low price. So thanks for watching this small review of the Logitech Extreme 3D Pro. I hope you liked it. Please check out my Patreon page over at patreon.com/AviationPro if you want to support the Aviation Pro channel. And of course, commenting, liking and sharing is much appreciated. So please leave your comment below about what you think of this joystick, or if you know any other joystick which might be very useful for new flight simulator enthusiasts. So thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.